Cosmo Dario Strings, and this is Guitar 101. This video is designed to be your very first lesson on guitar. So let's start with how you want to hold the guitar. You typically want to have the guitar held right next to your body. The closer it is, the better. Also, bringing it up a little higher tends to make a big difference, makes it a little easier for your left hand, especially in the beginning stages. If you have smaller hands, the higher up you hold it is also going to help. One thing that students do in the beginning is they often try to have the guitar a little flatter so they can see better, but it tends to make things hard for both of your hands, especially your left hand technique-wise. So once again, try to hold the guitar in as close to your body as possible. The next thing we should talk about is how you want to hold the pick. Most of you are probably going to be starting with a pick, which is kind of an easy way to start. I like to hold my pick between my thumb and my first finger, and I hold it kind of loose. You want it to be able to give a little bit. Some people tend to use their first and second fingers when they hold the pick, which is fine. Some people use their thumb and their second finger. So kind of whatever works better for you. The main thing is that you're holding it kind of loose and that it gives. You don't want to have a lot of tension and a lot of tightness when you hold the pick. Generally, tension's going to be your enemy when you're playing music or guitar. So you want to try to stay as loose and as flexible as you can. I always make the analogy of like if I'm shooting a basketball and I'm really tight, it's very hard for me to be accurate and to kind of really be good at what I'm doing. But if I can loosen up and relax, I can be a lot smoother in my delivery. And music's the same way. We want to try to release tension as much as we can. So as you strum, the pick should give. So that's generally a good starting point for strumming. The other thing you're going to do with your right hand is you're going to pick notes individually. When you're picking notes individually, most people tend to rest this part of their arm on the guitar. Now this is going to vary depending on what kind of guitar you have and also your body style. So there's a little bit of gray area as to what's best for you. Try to just use these as general guidelines and kind of see what works best for you. I like to rest the edge of my arm up here, and usually like the palm, the edge of my hand here, generally rests somewhere near the bridge. Some guitar players will rest it closer to here. Some people will be on the bridge. Some people will kind of have it floating. The main thing to consider is you want to be consistent in your right hand technique and all your techniques on the guitar. You want to find a comfortable technique that works for you, and you want to stick to it because one of the things we're doing in music is developing what we call muscle memory. And the idea is your muscles remember what they did and how they did it, so the more consistent you do it, the more you're going to remember those same patterns and the quicker you're going to progress. So when I'm playing single notes, I'm kind of resting my palm right here on the edge of the bridge, and I'm just going to gently play each string. So some single note technique to go along with our strumming technique. The next thing we want to think about is our left hand. And the left hand tends to be a little more problematic for most people in the beginning. The general rules are you want to have your thumb nice and low on the neck. So you want to have your thumb kind of nice and low, and you want to have nice round fingers on the fingerboard. Okay? So you want your fingers nice and round. The more your thumb comes over, the more it forces your fingers to flatten out, and it tends to make things more difficult, and you tend to play not as cleanly. So the more I bring my thumb down, the more that I can really keep my fingers nice and round and arched, and it helps me get a good sound and make some clean sounds. One of the things that we also do in the beginning is we like to start a little further up on the neck, especially if you have a smaller body. The more you extend down to the lower end of the fingerboard, things are a little trickier because your arm's more extended. So if you start and do some exercises up higher, say maybe at the 5th fret or the 7th fret, it tends to work a little better. My students have tended to be a little more successful.